I'm Miss Renee, and I'm here today to talk to you about doing some crafts with pool noodles. And you'll notice that this is a little shorter than the normal pool noodle, but that's fine. I just wanted you to see this so you would know about cutting it up and bending it. When you think about bending a pool noodle, you might think that it might break, but in actuality, it bends pretty good. And you'll be able to use duct tape if you wanted to make circles with it, or you'll see later how when we bend it, you can actually put rubber bands around it or string to hold it together. So the first thing that we're going to do, I want to show you how easy it is to cut. And what we're going to use is actually a plastic knife, which is really good instead of using a regular knife because it's not as sharp, but it'll still cut through the pool noodle. So I'm just going to show you how easy it is to cut through it. It might be a little noisy. Now you can cut all the way through, or you can turn it and cut the rest. And as you can see, it's pretty easy to cut through. And you can make all different things with a pool noodle once you have cut them into the sizes that you want. So let me show you a couple of the things that I have done with the pool noodle. The first thing is I made some boats, and I made two different kinds of boats. This boat is actually cut in half, and I used a straw and some paper for a sail. And this one is almost the same size as the little piece that I cut from the pool noodle just a couple of minutes ago, and it also has the straw. And one thing about pool noodles, they float. And so you can have races with the boats with your friends or your family members. And you can see who would get down to the other end, or you can just play with them. Now you also can float candles in the water. And one thing that you have to be very careful of with candles is that they have a battery. So this candle holder, I wanted to make sure did not get wet. This is very short, but you can make them a little bit bigger than this, but you still want to use some plastic wrap to protect your candle when it's in the water, because you don't want that battery to get wet. Okay, so be very careful with that, because that would be very pretty. Now, one thing that you can do with a pool noodle is you can cut them and have races with either a little car, a ball, or a bead. And I just discovered this morning a pom-pom. And you can put them in the little hole and have them go down and see what goes down the fastest. And there they go. And one thing though about these pool noodles is that the hole is not that big for a typical car. So it might take a little bit for it to get down. If it would have to be a little higher. It will work, so it would be a little trickier, but it's something that if you wanted to, it'd be much more fun with a ball or a bead. Now, the next thing I did is I cut a piece of pool noodle, and inside this little container, I put bubble solution. And you can blow bubbles with the pool noodle, which I will show you that I did. Have to make sure that it's covering the hole. And there it goes. But you get the idea. You'll be able to blow some bubbles with the pool noodle. You also can make some sculptures. So what I did is I started using some toothpicks, and you can attach them to the toothpicks. and make any type of sculpture that you want, which would be very interesting to see what you can do. You can also have races of stacking. You can stack them up as fast as you can and then unstack them and see who wins first. And you could do that with different sizes. I had just cut them all this size, but you can make all different sizes and they still stack together. Now, besides doing the stacking, you can also make monsters, which I did with pipe cleaners and pieces of straw and feathers. I made an animal, which is a cat, that you can also put some pom-poms and some googly eyes. Now, if you don't have googly eyes, you can use construction paper eyes that you can do. And I also made a spider that I used some markers for the spots. The pipe cleaners just stick right inside. They just poke right into the pipe, the pool noodle, so that makes it easy. And actually, the pipe cleaner makes it stand up. So that's some fun things that you can do with it. You can also play a game. Now, if you notice, I put some letters onto the pool noodle, and you can hide them all over the house and then have a race to see who can spell their name first after they find the letters in their name, and they have to stack it up. Or you can do it where they have to spell a word and you can put them in, or you can try to find all the letters of the alphabet. All different types of games that you can do, or you can thread them on pipe cleaners instead of just stacking them up. There's different ideas to do that. Now, I also made a horse out of the pool noodle, and what I did is I used a rubber band to hold where I bent it. Oops, did it lose an ear? That's because I just stuck it in there. See how easy that is? That was made out of construction paper, and I didn't glue it, but I did glue all of the material for its mane so it would stay on. I used some string for its harness and a couple of buttons, but you don't even have to do that if you don't have them. And regular glue stick will work on a pool noodle. I don't know what would happen if you got it wet with the glue, but I do know that, as you can see, they're not falling off. So the glue stick does work. And besides a horse, you can also make a unicorn or any other type of animal. But for it to be held so it stays in this shape, I used a rubber band. You can use string, but you would have to have some help to keep it there while you tie it in a knot. Now, the last thing that I made was a popper. And a popper is made with, let me get this over here for you, a balloon that I tied in a knot, and I cut the end off, and I taped with some tape that would keep it on there, but you do not have to do that. And I left the hole free. And what you do is you put your pom-pom in there and you pull back, and then it flies. Hopefully you saw it go because I don't have another one that is sitting here with me. But you can do that with pom-poms or some stale marshmallows, little mini marshmallows, and then you can you can pop those. Don't pop any buttons or beads or anything because they would hurt. But if you are having a game with that, I'd use small pom-poms and marshmallows. So those are just a few ideas I had for some pool noodles. I do have that information on a piece of paper if you forget, and it shows a picture of all the ideas that I did, and that will be on the events calendar on the Saratoga Springs Public Library webpage. Okay, I will see you next time. Bye.